Want to call to order this regular meeting of the Page County School Board for March 2nd, 2026.
Yes.
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 Yes. Now a moment of
Mr.
silence.
Wait, you didn't ask me? Yes.
Sorry.
Oh.
Wait.
Okay, we're going to have a moment of silence. Before our pledge of allegiance, do we have someone we're honoring that's going to do it for us? No?
No?
Okay. Please stand. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Are there any changes to the agenda? Hearing none. Take approval for that.
I make a motion, we approve the agenda as
I
printed.
second that motion.
Motion by Mr. Oldfield, second by Ms. Potts.
Yes.
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 Yes. All right, matters discussed in closed session, certify that.
I certify that the following, during closed session, the personnel items that were discussed in accordance with section 2.2-3711 alpha 1 pertaining to the discussion, consideration, or interviews of prospective candidates for school board employment, assignment, appointment, promotion, performance, demotion, salary, discipline, or resignation of specific public officers, appointees, or employees of the school board.
Second.
Mr. Oldfield, and second by Ms. Bryant.
Ms. Freeman.
Yes.
Yes. Yes.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We have citizen comments? No citizen comments. We have our consent agenda for approval.
Make a motion to approve the consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion by Mrs. Bryant, and a second by Mr. Oldfield.
Mr. Thomas.
Yes.
Mr. Overton.
Yes.
Mr. Rogers.
Yes.
Ms. Freeman.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. We'll move to our recognition and presentations.
Good evening, board. I will turn this over to Dr. Hubert.
Thank you. I'll ask that Caroline, Austin, and family, can you join up at the podium real quick? Family, if you'd like. All right, Caroline, you can take center stage, okay? You don't have to read anything. I'm going to read about you. No pressure. No pressure. See, you're smiling now. All right. Caroline is from Stanley Elementary. Caroline has been recognized several times this school year on the morning news as October Character of the Month for responsibility, for outstanding citizenship, and as Class Tiger of the Week. She is the type of student that continues to look for ways to make a difference not only in the classroom, but within our school community. Her self-ambition has driven her to assist with the breakfast tag cart in the mornings and often wipes and cleans floors and tables. She most certainly has assisted others in the building when they have become sick, lost an item, or needed help getting to a location. At lunch, she often makes sure that a fellow classmate is okay due to a health risk and makes sure they are able to get help if needed. A few months ago, Caroline extended her compassion for helping clean the cafeteria at breakfast and began sweeping under tables when her class was being dismissed. Now she leads a small crew, army if you will, of classmates and has created a chain of teamwork that helps our assistants and janitors clean the cafeteria. Her work ethic is like no other, and she aspires to one day be a chemist or work for NASA. Caroline's leadership skills, respect, and kindness towards others and her personal actions are a rare example of maturity and citizenship at such a young age. She truly has had a profound impact on her peers, classmates, and teacher, acting as a natural role model. Congratulations, Caroline. Great job.
That's cool.
Good job.
Good job.
Our next model student we want to recognize is Nathan Twitty. Nathan was not able to make it this evening, and I do want to read the comments about Nathan, just so we can recognize them as a group. Nathan is a truly caring first grader who always looks out for his friends. He shows kindness and compassion each day, often noticing when a classmate needs help or encouragement and stepping in with a gentle heart. This has been a big year of change for Nathan, and he has worked incredibly hard to adjust, learn new routines, and do his very best. He understands that learning may feel a little different for him at times, but he never lets that slow him down or distract from the learning of those around him. Instead, he keeps trying, stays focused, and shows so much determination. We are so proud of the growth he has made this year, both as a learner and as a friend. Nathan's perseverance, positive attitude, and caring spirit truly make him a wonderful model student. Great job, Nathan. Next up for Luray Elementary is Kaylee Miller. Now, Kaylee, you do have to read. Just kidding. Just kidding. Thank you for being here, family, and Kaylee as well. Kaylee approaches learning with an open mind, accepting feedback and treating others with kindness and respect. Kaylee celebrates her successes without boasting and always takes responsibility for her actions with a positive attitude. We are incredibly proud of Kaylee's character that she demonstrates each and every day. Great job, Kaylee. Proud of you. Next up, we have Springfield Elementary, Jack Cave.
Hey, Jack.
Welcome, family. Welcome, Jack. Jack is helpful, collaborative, and a positive leader who works well with others to achieve a common goal. He actively participates in group activities, demonstrates strong communication skills, and shows a willingness to help classmates succeed. Jack is a student who is kind and understanding to everyone, no matter their background. He is a great role model in our school community. Congratulations, Jack. Proud of you. Next up.
Well, we had to switch. We were going to have to switch.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Thank you all for being here.
Hey, buddy.
Hello. Well done. Good job, guys.
His brother judging in case something went wrong.
I know, yeah, that's pretty good, man.
If we stuttered, he should judge us.
She was looking for something to read.
Brian was looking at your gavel. He's,
He can lift about 450 pounds.
yeah, he's a big guy, man.
He's a strong guy.
Hello, everyone. Come on in.
Come on in.
Perfect guy.
Yes, he
And the
is.
Jewish sport.
Oh, yeah.
We just went.
Yeah, I know he's doing a good job. I think he was excited about it.
Is it
Oh, you were there.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was
Oh,
so
yeah.
cool. Wow.
This problem? Yeah, well,
Your seat's down here, too.
I
Yep.
can see Riley laughing at me now. I give her yeah. Are you going that year? $24 for tickets for two.
All right. Thank you all for being here this evening. Next up for recognitions, we had a few students who were not able to make the last meeting because of STEM night and the talent show. So that just shows we have some high caliber students doing lots of great things. So we're going to recognize them tonight, school board members and audience. I want to bring up James E. Singleton III, Abigail Stone, and Bryce Piper. We want to congratulate each of you and make sure we get a picture as well.
All right.
Congratulations. And then we have all district choir, Abigail Taylor from Page Middle.
All right. Thought you were gonna make them sing.
It's up to you. Great job, everybody. Thank you.
Thanks for coming.
Good job. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're raising good kids.
I like that. My name is Victoria. Who wrote this?
That's right.
Who wrote this agenda? I have been here all day.
All right, this time we'll have our Page County High School presentation. Student,
Oh, we have more kids coming in?
is there more kids coming in?
Oh, yeah.
Should be.
Someone's coming in.
Oh, okay.
Oh, these are old, these kids are old. These are the older kids.
Yeah, these are the older kids. Yeah, right.
It's the ones we have to hold back.
They're the ones that had trouble in 11th grade.
Good.
Okay.
The poor kids just came.
I'll just make sure I got it right. Yep, there we go. Okay, good evening, everybody. I got the Page County High School update. We're going to start with everybody's favorite sports, of course. Well, most people's favorites, it's going to be sports. Okay, so first I'm going to start with the wrestling. Since we know that winter sports states have came up, we've had a lot of success for winter sports states and regional stuff like that. So we're going to start with wrestling. PCH has 3 men wrestlers in state. So we had Michael Shiflett, who placed 5th in the 144. Cameron Donnell that placed 6th in the 132, and Logan Richards placed 6th in the 157. Then Michael Shiflett got his 100th career win for his career, so that's 100 wins, and it's a senior, so it was really special for him. Bree Bracken, which is the first girl ever to qualify for state finals at Page County High School, which is great. She got 2nd in the 120 state class. And then Kayla Pence also was a state qualifier. She only made it to first round, but that's okay. We're still appreciative. Moving on to basketball, which picture is going to be on the next slide just so y'all can see. We had 4 basketball players who made all districts. So Allie Pridham got first team, Isaac Foltz also got first team, and Caden Clumps got first team. Trent Epper got second team. 3 basketball players made it to all region. So you have Allie, Isaac, and Caden again all on first team. Marion Cave got named second team all district for scholastic ball, which is really important. So really happy with that. So here are some pictures. So we have Kayla and Bree. I didn't have like individual pictures on the podium, and I'm going to be honest, Bree threatened my life if I did put the one on the podium. So we have Kayla and Bree right there. Michael with his 100 career win. They got him a big poster. Allie, Caden, and Isaac all on that. They didn't have one with Trenton. I couldn't find that. And then we have our winter track boys down there, which you will see, which you can see our 2 dual sporters in there as well. So that's really great. So, well, we moved to my next slide on my thing. Okay. So then we have the indoor track team, which was named Region 1B champion. So they won the whole region as a team. Coach Brumfield was named Region 1B indoor track coach of the year, which is also great to hear. In states, Braxton Peckett, wow, can't talk. In states, Braxton Peckett got second place. Can't spell on the thing either, I guess. And just realized that. Down. We can blame Joey. We're going to blame
At
Joey.
least she called it.
Got the second ballot
And then
anyway.
Actor Kite got 5th place in the 500 meter dash. So that's great. And then the next slide, these are all pictures taken by Mrs. B. They do a great job taking pictures, which is so appreciative. We have Mr. B with the trophy and his plaque. Our 4x2 team, I think they're 4x2. I can't remember which one, but all those girls. And then we have like the extra, like Kaylee, which is great. We have our boys track team. We have them holding the trophy, of course, and then we have Marin, our scholastical. So that's great to hear. Okay, moving up, we have club updates. So we have a yarn club. Did not know this myself. I figured this out the other day, actually. So that was great to hear. So they went to the Christmas market and sold crocheted items. They earned $100. They will be at the Page County Craft Show to sell more items. I looked at their work because I really didn't know what it is. So I had Miss Jones explain to me, and they're actually beautiful. Like, I was shocked to the core. Now, I don't have money to spend on it, but I mean. So next is coming up with NHS. So our National Honor Society traveled to Stanley Elementary on March 5th, where memos read to students. NHS also started a tutoring program. Wow, why did no one go over this presentation? Tutoring program during SAP, a teacher requested an NH member for their subject. I think we've had 8 teachers reach out to us recently, and I think we had a school board member reach out to us about the elementary school. So that's great to hear. It's been a really big success. I think our most tutoring program right now is probably in our math programs. Other than that, the NH students really enjoy it. So that was great to hear. Okay, New Horizons. Our New Horizons completed a chain link contest among members who created the longest chain possible using only one sheet of paper and adhesive tape and staples and stuff like that. They also did their next meeting, they're creating and carrying out a Price is Right type game. So like we did one time where she put the certain type of candies on a board and we like figured out what the price was. So that was really cool to do and like figure out actually how the logistics of how much candy actually costs. Ooh. And then her discrete class members are conducting live auctions during class on Wednesday. So each student is $50, and then each group conducts a different type of auction to small items like snacks, school supplies, stuff like that. This is a part of a fair division unit, I guess. Our FFA, they have done school engaging raffles to support a National FCCLA Week. So they sold tickets for a big turtle box. If y'all know what that is, a big turtle box speaker. I think Miss Evie won that, our secretary, but it was a great time. They loved walking around doing it, and the teachers loved participating in that. So it's another fundraiser they do instead of steak dinner with FCCLA. And then they also did a livestock team this year, and they were competing in many different competitions across the state. They're in the final planning stages of PCPS, FFA, and FCCLA steak dinner in May. So that is May 9th, just for y'all to know. It's a great dinner. And y'all can buy your tickets off me if you really want them. Gotta sell 20 of them. So FCCLA, Joey and me represented Virginia FCCLA in the inaugural parade for Governor's Fan Burger, so we got to walk around in that. It was a really nice experience. Very eye-opening to see how the inner workings of that happens. Ooh, it was cold. Joey traveled to New York City for National FCCLA Week to plan National FCCLA conference, so that was great. We had a lot of fun. I was really jealous. Besides the point. PCHS members celebrated FCCLA Week February 9th through 12th, so we did a lot of small little things for FCCLA, like things about our members and then things about our alumni and stuff like that, so we could reach everybody through FCCLA. And then FCCLA members also currently working on star event competitions, which one of my favorite ones right now as I'm peeking through, because I'm not allowed to do one, is they're taking bowling balls, like small little bowling balls, and they're making them like yard things, like yard animals that you can put in your garden. So that was really cool. And then here is just pictures from that. So we have Joey on the Today Show. I don't know which show that is, but it's one of them. He went on a bunch. We have me and my state council at the inaugural parade. We have our FCCLA. We did Pajama Day, and then we gave out stuff to teachers. So that's one of our students. Okay, FBLA is preparing for the competitive events, testing a variety of business-related subjects. Don't really know much about that. Ms. McCauley didn't really give me much. Tried. They didn't really give me much, but it is FBLA, so it's really businessy. Yearbook, they had sold almost the entire 150 yearbooks this year and is hosting a fundraiser to keep prices lower and affordable for each yearbook. So I will say we had a good sale going on where like it was buy 2, get something off. Like it was a really nice deal. And it helped a lot of kids that didn't want to pay $65 at the beginning of the year now to lower the price. And I think they keep lowering throughout the year, if I'm being honest, but I don't know for sure. Our SCA is continuing to send home food for our families in need to help the cost of food. We're coming up with a fundraiser. So I think I mentioned this last time, but I'm going to re-mention it again. Recently, we've been sending food home. So FCCLA will create the meals, and then they will be going in bags with extra food and stuff like that, like refurbished items. Put them in a bag and send them home with the families in need or families that need help just cooking dinner at evenings. So we have been sending home, but now we're creating a fundraiser for it because food's expensive. So, yeah. And then music department, they had a lot of success. So our music department had a successful music show in 4 Frozens. A number of students from the PCH department had represented our band and choir for all district choir in January, all district band in February, and all students are in the process of preparing for band and choir assessment performances in March, which I believe they did last week. But I don't think they've got the results of that yet. That's all I've got. Any questions?
Nice job.
Did it all in one breath, too.
I'm not sure the tickets for the steak dinner.
They're usually 20, but I can see.
Okay.
It matters on how FFA has priced that recently. Because FFA does the pricing. We just book, sadly.
That's good. All right, informational item, monthly financial.
Yes, good evening, school board members. Dr. Huber, I have presented to you the financial report for the month ended February 28, 2026, where total expenditures for the month of February were $3,721,522.55. With this, you have been provided with the local match calculation that was balanced with the treasurer's office and also with the, just the local match. But what I wanted to point out to you this time is our local match was much less than what we have been seeing due to additional federal and state revenue that came in February and lower expenditures. So $770,000 for local matches, the least that we've seen this year. And last time we met, I said, stay tuned for more good news. As you know, I've been projecting our overage each month, and that has come down another $200,000 to around $615,000. So we're continuing to work.
Good news. Thank you. Good job.
Bring it back.
Instructional update.
Good evening. For new members of the board, my name is Sarah Hamill, and I serve as the Director of Teaching and Learning for the division. I'm here to share about our English Language Arts curriculum adoption. We've gone through an adoption for both elementary and secondary levels this year, and I'm excited to share our process with you. So as part of my role, I'm always looking at curriculum. Is it aligned with standards? Is it aligned with evidence-based practices and aligned with legislation? There's been a lot of laws created in the past handful of years around requirements for school curriculum. You're going to hear the word high quality instructional materials throughout my presentation, and that's all rooted in legislative language. Of course, as a representative of the division, we link things to our strategic plan as well. So this adoption and all things instructional are linked to Goal 1 and Objective 1 or 1.1, just academic improvement and improving student outcomes overall. So excited to share where we went with all of this. So the next slide, I have the clicker. Thank you. Okay. So high quality instructional materials, basically VDOE defines this as materials that are aligned, rigorous, and rooted in evidence-based practice. You'll hear a lot about research-based, and that's shifted in the past couple of years, where it's not just research-based, but there's evidence behind it and its efficacy, or it's how effective it is in the school system. So again, in order to be considered high-quality instructional materials, vendors have to submit to the Virginia Department of Education, and they seek approval, and it's held up against the standards of learning, the standards of rigor that have come through, in this case, the Virginia Literacy Act and some other legislation that's moved forward. So this sort of walks you through information around that, right? So mandates to ensure we're following the science of reading, that's changed the landscape of literacy and literacy instruction across the state. The Virginia Literacy Act was passed in 2022 and that was a focus at that time on K-5. This past year, it's gone live and extends up through 6-8, and it requires the use of high-quality instructional materials. And then most recently, House Bill 2777 expanded the requirement of high-quality instructional materials in English language arts up to grade 12. and also broadened it. So now the state is requiring high quality instructional materials across the 4 core content areas. So we're talking English, science, social studies, and math. So there's a list of approved curricula. We're actually, as far as this adoption, checks the box for us in English language arts. The curriculum that's in place currently is not on the state approved list, so we were mandated essentially to move forward in examining other options that were on that list. There was a math adoption last year. I take no credit for that. It predates me, but that is on our list. So we're covered in English language arts with this adoption and math in that adoption. State approved lists in science and social studies have not come out yet, so we'll be in a holding pattern on those. All right. I keep forget I have. This is just our timeline in brief. I started this process in October, and we've wrapped it up recently. So committees were formed. I sought principal recommendations for who would represent their building. I wanted every building represented. And across the elementary level, I wanted to make sure that either teachers at each grade level currently or teachers and interventionists who had experience, so that K-5 was covered as we examined there. And then the high school committee, we made sure that the English teams were included there, of course. So we started with the formation of committee, reviewing state documents across what is on the approved list, what are our options to start with. It's lovely that we're members of the Comprehensive Instructional Program Consortium, because they were able to provide me with a list with the adoptions that have taken place across the consortium. And essentially where our committee decided to start is the 4 most popular curricula across the consortium. We know there's alignment there for the benchmark work that we do, so we thought that was a fair starting point. So we worked with vendors, got samples, held meetings, reviewed samples, narrowed it down, and then brought in vendor presentations at the elementary level, and got samples out to buildings so that every teacher, not just committee members, had the opportunity to review and weigh in on the curriculum. And then we met most recently to make our final decision. So this is our committee members. I want to give a shout out and a huge thank you. All the work that we did took place late afternoon and evening. On the big review days, we were here till close to 6 o'clock, and there was never complaints. Everybody was very invested and willing to do that work. So I couldn't have done it without them. They were of course instrumental. So here to the left is our elementary committee, and to the right is our secondary committee. The differences between those, the way that curriculum has changed over the years, is the volume of it, particularly at the elementary level, and the model of, if your school experience was like mine, you got a textbook. Back then, we wrapped them in paper bags, and then you used that textbook. Now it's materials heavy for elementary in particular. They have that model at middle as well, though our crew wanted the hardcover kind of lit books for those levels. They felt like they would hold up better. So the consumable model at the elementary level is different than what you and I were used to in school. So this was a document that I created in the beginning of it. So we started with 4 curricula. We started with Amplify, Core Knowledge, and Language Arts. You'll hear that referred to as CKLA. We looked at Benchmark Advanced. We looked at Houghton Mifflin Harcourt into reading. You'll hear that referred to as HMH. And then we looked at McGraw-Hill Open Core. And this was just a document shared among the committee where here's our vendor, here's the VDOE approved materials and how it correlated across Virginia SOLs, what were the strengths, what were the weaknesses of the program, and then also demo accounts, so teachers could log in and look at the online platform for each of the curricula. So that's where we started. We brought in hard copy samples of each of these for all grade levels at the elementary level, and our crew dug in and went through and reviewed by grade level every single one, filled out some digital feedback, and through that we narrowed this down to 2. And the 2 that were in the running for final selection was the HMH Into Reading and McGraw-Hill Open Core. And from there, we sent those out to buildings for the greater review. We'll talk about that in a little bit. Because the VLA just expanded and secondary is just on the radar around HQIM, there's a whole lot less options on the state lists that we could choose from. So our committee worked and we started with two, HMH into literature and McGraw-Hill Study Sync. From the outset, we were clear it wasn't necessarily important to us that we had a K-12 curriculum from the same vendor. If the elementary committee wanted to go with one and the secondary committee wanted to go with another, we felt like that wasn't going to be a barrier to student success. But we started with these two, and because we only started with two, we continued with the two through the whole process. We didn't want to send just one out to buildings. We wanted teachers to have options and be able to review. And again, when we received the sample kits for these, they came in a model that secondary folks certainly are not familiar with and were not comfortable with. They wanted that hardbound lit book. They felt like it would hold up. Felt like the consumable model would get lost by kids, and then we'd end up. So when samples were sent, I made sure that those hardcover lit books were sent out to middle and high schools as well. And this has the same VDOE info, demo accounts, all of that, where people could go in. So the greater review process, we brought in elementary folks because it's so comprehensive and materials heavy. We felt strongly about bringing in vendors to present and walk us through. So we hosted a vendor from HMH into reading and a vendor from McGraw-Hill Open Port. This got delayed because of the storm, the larger storm we had this winter, and the vendor flew in from Tennessee. So we had to push it back a little bit. But they came in and presented, answered a ton of questions, followed up with information on questions we didn't get answered in the moment. But it was impressive, both of them. I think that's the state approval, that high quality instructional material model has leveled the playing field, I would say, across curriculum in a way that we've not seen before. The other change that I think is worth mentioning and that we may hear about from teachers is the way that literacy, particularly at the primary grades or elementary level, has been taught. It's been focused on a skills-based curriculum, right? Where we say, okay, we're going to teach inferences, we're going to teach author's purpose, we're going to teach main idea. And what we've learned through the science of reading is that in order to truly make connections, kids need to link knowledge with previous knowledge or prior knowledge, that background knowledge. So the model for curriculum has shifted, where now it's really you're teaching those skills through knowledge building activities. So there's a lot of different genres that they'll run across. There's a lot of nonfiction where they're maybe learning about main idea, but they're doing so by learning about the origin of the Olympics or something like that. So simultaneously building background knowledge while teaching those critical skills around, phonics and phonemic awareness at the early grades, and then into comprehension as you get older. So again, sample sets out to every building. Schools were given, I think, a 3-week window to ask teachers to review, and teachers were provided a digital survey. So these are samplings of the survey. This is the elementary survey where they entered what's their role, because we did ask schools to make sure that parents and families had opportunities to come in and review as well. Sadly, we only had one survey response from someone who doesn't work in the division. We had one family engage. But this sort of, the kinds of things in our first meeting, we set priorities. What do we want in a curriculum? So this survey reflects a lot of that, as well as, of course, the science of reading. And this isn't the entirety of it. This is just screenshots. So that's the elementary. And here is the secondary survey. So a little different, but it kind of gets to the root of it again. And again, this is just a sample. It's not the entire survey. But teacher usability, student usability, and able to access it. The rigor piece, we have to tune into that. It is a little bit of a shock to the system if you've not seen that. But teachers adjusted well if they were. So where we landed. I'm excited that we had over 85 people engage in the review process. So we had a committee of 12 at each level, but all told, over 85 people across the division engaged in the review and survey process. And ultimately, both groups ended up selecting the same vendor, McGraw-Hill, right? So McGraw-Hill at the elementary level is called OpenPort, and McGraw-Hill at the 6-12 level is called StudySync. And really what we heard at the end, the secondary group felt very strongly about McGraw-Hill. The elementary group, it was a much tighter race between the two, and ultimately everybody was like, they're both great. We will be fine either way. And, you know, to their credit, as we talked about being good stewards of resources and all of that, committee members were like, well, maybe we need to get a ballpark price. And maybe that is what sways the decision. So I was impressed with that even, you know, at that level, we're getting that big picture understanding. So from here, I'm working with McGraw-Hill to finalize. They have been lovely thus far. So I need to finalize the quote and pricing following this presentation. Our other priority, because this is going to be purchased out of FY27, and in order to promote a successful rollout, I want to make sure teachers can access materials before August, right? This is a big deal, and getting it in the hands of our teachers so that they feel prepared and capable with it is critical. So that's something that I've talked with vendors about, like this is an FY27 purchase. However, I need you to guarantee that this can be our reality, and that's been positive thus far. So we'll submit for purchase and follow our procurement process, of course. There's a PD model that comes with it, full day training, and then embedded coaching throughout, training for administrators. And then from there, you engage in the feedback loop, right? Adopting new curricula, the first year can be tough. Change is hard, and it's a lot on teachers to learn a new curriculum. So I'm prepared for that. I've lived through that as a building level administrator. And there's no such thing as a perfect curricula, but I am pleased and impressed with the way this has shaken out. That's what I have for you. What questions can I answer?
A lot.
In doing this, I'm assuming these are textbooks, correct?
So it's
In the new era of textbooks.
Yes, essentially, yeah. At the elementary level, it's more consumable based. There's
Correct.
workbooks, tear out, decodables, things like that.
Yeah.
But secondary, it's definitely class sets of textbooks is what we're pricing.
Okay. And the process was, in what you did, you followed the school board policy on.
For textbook adoptions?
Yes.
Our goal was certainly inclusive and following policy.
Okay. So you had the rubrics that everyone had to go through when they were picking the materials.
So with the inception of the VLA, we didn't rely as heavily on those rubrics. We relied on sort of that HQIM model.
Okay.
So we did not use the rubrics that have been used historically because they're not quite aligned with the legislation that's passed that was really driving our need to do this.
So so a source that we have for rubrics is outdated from the new material that we're moving into.
Not outdated for the legislation that's come through.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. The other question is the cost built within the new current budget?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah. We prepared for this. In my budget requests, I cited
that's
I'm gonna
embedded
need
in
X dollars
into the ask.
because of VLA and HB 277.
That
Yes.
instructional bubble, think about the presentation.
So that's
in
in.
one of those.
Okay.
It counts for the bulk of the increase in the instructional requests this year.
That's the only question I have.
So what do we do with the old material? And does it have any value? I mean, can we get any money for it?
I would argue that it probably doesn't. It's 5 years old and does not meet the state standards.
But I mean,
So outside of maybe a private school,
Yeah.
but I don't have experience in turning over curriculum resources that way, so I don't want to speak with any authority to it, but I suspect not.
I'm just curious, maybe we could take that and maybe somebody could use it overseas perhaps at another location. But if there's any residual
We
funding.
donate.
Donate.
A missionary.
We
Missionary,
donate
okay.
our old textbooks and curriculum, and the company comes and picks it up, and it does go overseas.
Okay.
Schools, private schools.
Oh, good.
We
So it
even
doesn't go in
donated.
the trash.
Good to know. That's good to know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We even donated the samples that were part of what was not selected. Bridgewater College reached out to me and said, if you have, they realize in their ed prep program that their
Right.
student teachers have to adjust to the new model of curriculum. So I've donated samples that otherwise were just sitting on to Bridgewater College for their ed program.
Nice. Okay. Thank you.
Anything else? Thank you all.
Thank you.
Okay, this time we have our VSBA policy update, Ms. Clark.
Good evening, Board. You have in front of you this evening several updates that we're bringing forward. Most of them are minor wording changes or updates to cross-references. I will note that in policy GBMA, we did make some changes there to reflect the addition of a procedure that was in accordance with the VSBA policy. And we cleaned that up a little bit to take a staff form and separate it into its own so it's a clearer picture of what's happening. And then we removed one of our items so that we already have those in procedures. There's no need to keep having a regulation there. You'll see also we added a policy on voluntary retirement savings because that is a benefit that we provide our staff. And we put that into policy so that you could see that. And that all matches the VSBA. Anything that you see that's removed is because either VSBA has now removed that as a policy or we have that embedded in other policies at this time, which are noted in that summary. Any questions?
Not so much a question as much as maybe a comment. As far as when I looked through them, the employee forms that were in there, should they not incorporate some sort of Page County Public Schools letterhead or logo?
When we put it on board docs, it will
Okay.
go over to
Gotcha.
that. Yes,
Gotcha.
thank you.
And that gets the nomenclature on there and all that's put on.
Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Brookfield lease, Mr. Bell.
Good evening, board members. As an informational item tonight, coming to you next time for approval, it's our intention to renew the lease for the portion of Grove Hill that's currently occupied by Bible Holiness Christian Academy. They've actually been in that. I didn't realize that till I looked back. It has been 6 years, fall of 2019 when they first came in. We met with their administration in February to review the terms of the lease, and no changes at this time other than an increase in the rent from the previous couple of years.
What was the previous lease?
The amount,
Yes.
$4,100 a month.
What's driving our increase?
I would say the major cost would probably be the utilities.
So we're all in on utilities for the lease?
But they only got part of the building.
Right, it's part of the building, so it should be prorated then for the area that they're occupying as close as possible to the actual cost.
Yeah, the square foot that they.
And they're okay with that already? You've already
Yes.
socialized that?
Yes.
Okay.
Sounds good.
Yeah. Income. We need.
However slight.
Half the light bill.
Yeah, yeah.
Cool. Any other questions? Thank you.
Thank you.
Title II funding for school improvement. You do? Thank you.
Hey, Mr. Chairman, could I go back to Mr. Bell's presentation just for a second? I just want, are there any prospects for any other tenants for the remainder of the building? Greenfield?
I can speak to that if you all would like. I have been in conversations with Ms. Mueller regarding that, actually, and we meet every other week now, and one of those conversations was about the back half that Keys Academy used to occupy, and we're just working, setting up a date and time to go walk it and look at it for possible county use as well. I think there's some different things happening in Shenandoah area where that space could complement that. So she's got some ideas. I know EDA does as well. And we're moving forward. That's the one prospect that I know of
Good.
that I think would be a great partnership between the schools and government.
Okay, thank you.
I don't know if you guys had any others that I wasn't aware of. Great.
Don't want to be in conflict.
Go ahead, sir.
All right, good evening, y'all. Thank you so much for listening to me tonight. So I'm going to talk to you and hopefully educate you a little bit about Title II. So Title II is one of the main 4 federal grants that we receive from ESSA, or Every Student Succeeds Act. Title II's primary purpose or goal is really in conjunction with HR. This is to support teacher retention, to train teachers, to train principals, to provide that professional development, quality, keep people here in Page County. So that's really the big push behind Title II. With that, there are a ton of different rules and things that must be followed to spend Title II money. So last year, the year we're talking about, let's be clear here first. The year we're talking about is award year 24, or in Ms. Miller's world, fiscal year 25. Every federal grant, Titles 1, 2, 3, and 4, run 18 months. So I have from the time they submit in July 1 until September, the next September, so 24 to this 26. So I have that chunk of time to help the division allocate that money. So what happens with that is if you don't allocate the money, you don't income, you lose it. You have to give it back. So Miller doesn't like to give money back. Nor do you want out.
Good on her.
We want to use the money for what it's for. So improving teacher quality, high quality professional development, and the other piece of it that we've historically used Title II for is retention incentives. So talk about our math teachers. Dr. Johnson and I work very closely together. So if we get a secondary math teacher that's endorsed, properly licensed and endorsed, we give them a stipend to come back every year and reteach for Page County Public School, higher if needed. All of that is then based on the division's needs assessment. So like we wrote a needs assessment recently and updated our needs assessment for our school improvement grant, which I think I shared with you several months back. That needs assessment, if it's not in your needs assessment, it can't go in your Title II plan because it ain't a need. So everything flows out of that needs assessment. So like math was a need. There's special education teachers. Ms. Miller writing into the 26 a stipend for special education teachers. So if they come back, they don't leave us, they're properly licensed and endorsed, we're going to work and provide that stuff. So just sort of future thoughts. So allowable uses, right? Professional development, teacher recruitment, retention, and then school leadership. So all of Title II really is pouring into our staff. That's really what that is all about. There at the bottom, we talk about accountability. So it's always got to be based on needs assessment, got to be aligned with our division's strategic plan. And the other piece that they ask for Title II is that it's focused on our schools. So that leads me to why I'm here this evening to talk to you a little bit, update you. With the award year 24, we have some money that we have to encumber and spend down. One of the big pieces that Dr. Johnson and I worked on was we were paying for college credits. So you decide you're going to go get an additional endorsement, or you're going to finish your endorsement, you're going to become properly licensed and endorsed. We would pay for your college credits. Well, we found it. Johnson found it. We found it. Somebody found it, right? But iTeach is a program that they're offering, and now what we're doing is those people are taking those iTeach courses. We pay for their coursework. That's a division, and then they agree to them 3 years to continue to be employed with Page County Public Schools. Well, iTeach is not as expensive as a college course. So in my amendment process, we switched from college to secondary education, higher ed, right, to iTeach. Well, iTeach didn't cost the division, so now we have some money that we've got to spend. So with that little bit of money that we have left, we've got an opportunity that I'd like to present to you, and I know I've talked to Dr. Huber about, is to basically form an agreement with LDMB. So on the back of your sheet is LDMB is a consulting company that one of our recent people employed here actually works for. So Dr. Alderford, who I told him was going to talk about tonight, as if he wasn't in the room. So Dr. Alderford has been here, filling in as our interim assistant superintendent and doing a great job, and has built relationships with all of our principals that he's worked with. What he has offered through his company that he's employed with, LDMB, is basically to provide professional development and leadership building capacity with 3 of our schools. And the 3 schools would be Page County, Lurie Elementary, and Shenandoah. Those 3 schools specifically This page middle is APSI, gray and shade. Yes, those are our federally identified schools. So it's an allowable use through Title II, take that funding and provide them an additional layer of support above and beyond what they're already receiving. So you can see there, the goals he's laid out through the LDMB consulting is to improve student academic, increase high leverage instructional practices. So think about there's something called explicit instruction. So it's a way of teaching students very, very systematically how to learn and figure. So that is part of what he's doing. Another high leverage practice is to scaffold, teaching teachers how to scaffold information. How he's going to go about this is through the principal, because ultimately after September, we don't have any money to pay LDMB. So what we're going to do is we have a plan between now starting in September to basically onboard these three principals and their leadership teams and teach them how to take this information and go and teach the rest of the faculty and staff. Our ultimate goal will be focusing on students with disabilities, or students that have been identified with a disability, and then helping teach them the skills they need to support their students. Let's see, so you look there at the very bottom. Let me talk about evaluation real quick. So student achievement, of course, we're going to be looking at SOL scores, we're looking at that federal identification process, teacher and staff surveys, and of course, classroom observations as we go in and implement these high leverage practices. If you look there at the bottom, the little triangle, we did go and Dr. Huber was very gracious and reached out to Virginia Association of School Superintendents. And they have a model that's somewhat similar, but really not. It's a different focus. Their focus is on systems and data. So they're going to come in. They would come in for the tune of $15,000, 3 days or 21 hours. And then for that $15,000, all you're getting is them coming in to look at how your systems operate, and they're going to analyze it. It's really not helpful for a teacher or a principal. They do a really good job of looking at their own data. LDMB has agreed to come in. They're going to, on top of looking at data and systems, they're going to focus on coaching, specifically principals and teacher leader teams, focus really on those high level. So, and it's less. So I like this, right? We get more for our money, more investment, or more return for our investment. So this is sort of what we're proposing to, and I know it's a little different. Offer is currently employed and no longer will be employed, and then we'd like to bring him back. But we want to be transparent about how we're doing. Questions?
What's your start date?
March 15th.
15. It runs through September.
September. Yeah, mid-September.
Mid-September.
And these funds, this is basically break each, that if we don't commit, we're going to lose.
Yes.
Makes it easy.
Yeah.
So are these, you say that we're gonna build this thing up to mid-September, and then how are we gonna monitor it moving after that? How does it get seated into the classroom for teacher or whatever?
Yeah, so it's a good question. So the purpose of the program is to build capacity of the adults in the building, right? So you're building the capacity, getting them the skills that they can then leverage with other teachers within the building. So it's the idea of trying to improve schools from the inside out in some ways, right? So the principals will be a part of it, but the focus is as much on those teacher leaders and helping them to build out. In a perfect world, this would be the entire year.
Mm-hmm. Right.
I will say that there would be the possibility, if the division was satisfied and liked what we were doing, that there would be another round of funding, that there could be some continuation into next year. But even if that didn't happen, the work that we're putting in building the skills of those teachers and principals, they would then be in a position to be able to monitor it themselves. A person like myself wouldn't be a part of it at
Okay.
that point.
So
After
it'd be more the
September,
principal.
it would be the principal, but based on the skills and lessons that they were learning through the program. So the program is set up that I would be meeting monthly between now and September with the leadership teams, and then there's 3 days of all-day training in the summertime as well.
So this is a train-to-trainer program,
It is
basically.
sort of a train-the-trainer program. So one of the things that that would happen with this is there would be 2 days of training, intense training in June, and then there would be another day in August. And that day in August is really building around preparing those teachers to then go back and do presentations during back to school with their staff, right? So the idea is that instead of having an outsider come in and stand up in front of all of these teachers at a back to school meeting, you have those teachers, the ones who were in the trenches with them.
Teachers teaching teachers.
Teachers teaching teachers, but part of what I'm trying to, the emphasis is that doesn't always come natural to everybody, about how do you teach teachers, right? How do you have that influence? In fact, the day in August, much of that day will be spent doing preparing their presentation, right? So I'll be a part of that, helping each of these teams prepare their presentation to make it as effective as they possibly can. I mean, we've all been to presentations, some that were really effective and some that weren't, right? And so part of it is around really helping them to build their ability to do that, not just in August, but then continue to do that moving forward.
And question I have is, are there a way to be for measured outcomes?
So it is tricky. So one of the measured outcomes is student achievement. I will say that we are starting this on March 15th, and SOL's tests start
Shortly
in
there.
May 15th.
Yeah.
Right? I'm not here to tell you that we're going to move the needle majorly over
No.
the course of the next 2 months, right?
Right.
That I would be foolish to try to make that kind of assertion. What I would tell you is that there is a long game here, right? You can build capacity of those teachers. You will see, and thus the other teachers in the building, there will be some increases in student achievement, but it's not going to be short term. It's a long
Yeah.
game.
The ROI isn't immediate. It won't be in 2 months. It's going to be in 12 months, basically.
That is what I expect that will be the case. And again, a part of this is about building the capacity, but as Mr. Hopkins talked about too, it's being merged with this concept called high leverage practices. There's like 22 practices, instructional practices have been shown, evidence has shown they are, if you do these in a classroom, you will have success. They're not complicated, but it's surprising how often they're not being done correctly. So what we're doing is we're actually talking and teaching them how they can do it in their classroom, but it goes beyond just how they do it, right? That's only 6 or 8 people. How do you help the rest of the people in your building do that? So at a team meeting, how do you do it, right? At a faculty meeting, how do you do it? When you have a team member who's not really on board, right, who doesn't really want to do this, they're complaining in the teacher's lounge, how do you bring them along, right? That's where this is. We're trying to teach them those skills.
So when you leave in September, or your company leaves in September, is the administration involved in some part to be able to carry it
They're
along?
involved in all of it.
Okay,
Yeah,
so they'll be able
they're going to
to
be
carry it along.
They will be a part of these leadership team meetings, these monthly meetings, and then they'll also be coming to the
Training.
training center.
Dr. Alter, will you be providing kind of to the board and to our team, kind of a summary of what we need to do as a division, next steps, so it's an investment?
Absolutely, I would be happy to do that. Right.
So-
I'm not interested in just. I mean, I'm not trying to do this for the next 4 months and then, oh, that was fun, and then we move on. That's been a problem, I'll tell you, with professional development in teaching forever.
Yeah.
Has been that it is one and done.
No follow-up.
There's not. It's a one-time event, and then you move on. I heard used this analogy. I read it just the other day. talking about something just like this, and it was around oral hygiene. And they said, okay, if you want to have good oral hygiene, you can go to the dentist twice a year. And if you don't brush your teeth the rest of the year, then it doesn't make any difference, right? Or if you brush your teeth every day and you don't go to the dentist, you're going to be much better off, right? So it's not intensity, it's consistency. If you can do both of them, that's great. But if you're going to do one or the other, do consistency, don't do intensity.
Yeah.
So the intention of this is that it would be consistent. And to your question, Dr. Huber, yes, I'd be happy to come back here, say this is what we did, this is what we accomplished, this is my recommendations. But it would be not just be to the board, these would be recommendations I'd make to Dr. Huber and whoever the next assistant superintendent is and director of instruction and those types of things.
I have a question also to follow up. After he leaves and he does his exit stats, how are we to know how successful it is given next March, next June? Who's going to give us a presentation on the effectiveness of what happened?
So I think it would be myself or someone from our team who's going to take the model that we work with Doug, in my opinion, Dr. Aldifer, in my opinion, to develop that aligns with where he's at in those measurables and those outcomes we're looking for, and we would need to report that back to you. And our team, our leadership team that's working with principals, just carries it right forward. But we want to be consistent.
Yeah, I just don't want it to be a ball that we pick up and then a ball that gets dropped. And then
So if I may, I would recommend that over the summer is part of the time when administrators are doing their annual improvement plans for the next year, right? So that would be a part of what we would be talking about. So what of what we're doing in the summertime would you put into this plan that would then continue on after September, right, into the rest of the year? Each of these schools are currently in improvement for some reason, for student achievement. We all hope that they're not in it next year, but there's a chance they will be, right? So there'll be requirements for other improvement plans. So the things we're talking about here are not rocket science, meaning that they're these high leverage practices, but I mean, they're good instruction. The things that we're talking about are good instruction and embedding them in that school. I think a wise piece of it.
but that's the hook that you have is when it's into a plan.
Then it becomes.
So it makes sure the ball doesn't get dropped.
It becomes, it's institutionalized to some degree.
Yeah.
in that.
And I would assume that once that process is done, there might be some best practices. We're losing, when we lose a Miss Burr, right? You lose a lot of leader and a lot of experience. And you'll see it as she leaves. Steps in behind. Not only do we have schools that need improvement, but there's also when you're losing after you go through.
I might add, from an HR perspective, you're averaging somewhere between 10 and 15 new hires a year who didn't go through schools of ed. So this or support programs such as this are critical for staff to be really important.
Didn't have those practicums or
Student teaching.
yeah.
Now, how do you all plan on selecting who the teacher leaders are?
Principals. So it's interesting. We'll talk with the principals. They have leadership teams, kind of formalized leadership teams, and that would be a place to start. I don't know that would be the only people that would be a part of it, right? I think what I would encourage principals to do is that they have these leadership teams. I would also encourage them to look around their buildings and say, who are teachers that may not even see themselves as leaders, right? But the principal does, that have influence, right? And say, and those may be reluctant leaders sometimes, right? They're not ones that want to do this. They wouldn't, but a principal goes in and says, I really see you as a person that could be good at this.
Maybe the informal leaders.
That's,
And I think that goes a long way to kind of Mr. Painter's point of succession planning, because we do want to make sure that if we have those teachers that are retiring, that are currently the leaders of the school, how are we bringing up the other ones to be that next person to carry the team? So.
yeah, well, one of the things I'll say that this particular model is a model that I'm excited about because it does allow for more intense training with a smaller group, right? So there's sometimes whenever if you get up and you try to do the same type of work with the entire group, you go a mile wide and an inch deep.
Right.
You don't make impact, right? So everybody hears it, but I mean, the story of sowing the seeds, right?
Right.
You got stony ground, you got whatever, trampled ground, you got thorny ground, whatever. But, so if we can find the fertile ground and really try to cultivate that with those, and then help them
Go
to,
deep, then go wide.
and then, so that's like part of the model.
There's also the theory of the Hawthorne experiment that was done many, many years ago. When you take any select group and you say, okay, you're going to be a leader for this. And all of a sudden, somebody goes, oh, I better do just a little bit better. They went through the entire experiment changing lights in a factory, watching productivity. And every time they raised it, they got more productivity. And then they turned it down. And they got more productivity. And they turned it down again. And they got more productivity. And what they learned in the experiment, that it wasn't the light or the new desk or anything else. It was that, hey, we're doing something to help you here. And the individual said, oh, they're watching how I'm doing it. I'm going to show them I can do good things. And it worked. It's a documented classic management study, I think was done way back in the 20s. But it's still taught today that that attention of the select group, 9 out of 10 times will get you some productivity that may or may not have been expected.
Yeah, they take ownership of it.
Yeah, they'll see this as a potential investment in them that we're making, which is going to help retention. I think. I mean, it sounds pretty good to me. I like it.
I like it.
Good job.
Thank you. Roger, we gave away our secrets will motivate people. We're ready for our superintendent update.
He gave me a chicken sandwich.
You're doing good today, buddy.
All right. Good evening, members of the board, members of the audience, and those watching at home. I'm going to give a brief superintendent's update this evening for your review. So always, as I always do, is start off with Row the Boat Awards. We are up to 692 recognitions for the year and climbing by the day, which has been exciting for me to see. And believe it or not, I do read and sign every single one of them, and I read them. And here's just 3 quotes that came out of the most recent Row the Boat Awards that I think really captured the spirit of what we're trying to do with recognizing peoples in all different aspects of our organization, of our school system. Whether you'll look on here and you'll know, is that a student talking about a teacher? Is that a parent? Is that a student recognizing a custodian? It's so cool to read those, and you can kind of generate an idea of what's the experience of that child, what's the experience of that family, and what's the experience of that staff member in our building. So I just gave 3 examples that you can read, and there's 689 more that I have. But just proud of our staff and continue to ask, if you see something good happening in our schools, our people love to hear that. And they do a great job. Looking at enrollment as we always do. See, there's a smile. We're trending in the right direction. As of yesterday, at 2809 is our ADM enrollment. We're still under 21 kids from our 2830 budgeted amount, which I know we've been aware of that. But as I do each meeting, I want to update you with our up to date enrollment. Moving on. So last week, as many of you participated in, we had Read Across America. Great book there in that picture, along with some yummy green eggs and ham that child was enjoying in their classroom, if you see it there. So, oh, sorry, that's the wrong content for that slide. But if you look at the bottom bullets, we had a great time. I know I went out to read, and many central office folks enjoyed that as well. I know Mr. Overfelt was reading at LES around the same time I was, and many other board members. And it was just a great week to celebrate reading, to celebrate learning, and kids had a blast. So. Upcoming events, got a big day tomorrow. I don't know if anybody knew that. Exciting day and exciting time for our school division, for our community, most importantly for our students. And we're really excited. If any students or athletes are listening, we'll be there tomorrow to support you. So we hope that everybody can get to Richmond. If you can't, watch it on TV, and be happy with that early dismissal that you have at 12:30. So we provided that just so the public is aware, to allow our students, staff, and families, if they were able, to get over to Richmond safely and on time for tip-off. So we're really proud of our coaches, our staff, and the community as a whole for supporting the teams. So I do want to thank our community as well for helping with this. We will have a parade on Saturday at 2 p.m. Coming here through town. So that's win or lose. Second option won't happen. So we're all about the win, and we'll celebrate that on Saturday. So hopefully folks can come out that maybe didn't make the game. We have a budget presentation coming up to the County Board of Supervisors on March 19th. That'll be in the county boardroom. We have no school on the 20th. That's a teacher work day. Then we have our PCTC Day in the Life event coming up, and believe it or not, Q4 begins. So talk about time is flying. That is impressive. So moving from there, we have our regular school board meeting. Spring break is just right around the corner, students, so enjoy that, as well as staff. And again, no school on the following date, and it is an optional conference day. We encourage parents to reach out to their teachers if they want to sit down and have a conversation. All right, 100-day plan update from myself. It's been a busy couple weeks since we met last. I've had some great visits to our cafeteria and nutritional services. I went to Shenandoah. I had a wonderful Monte Cristo homemade, and met some fantastic students that had so many good things to say. It was a fourth grade group, and I just applaud them for just how grown up they were and how well spoken they were in terms of what they like and don't like, and we found out they like chicken chunks. So I made a note of that. Luray Middle School and Page High as well were included in those visits. Got to thank our cafeteria workers and thank our supervisor of school nutrition, Ms. Campbell. I keep calling her Ms. Comer, Ms. Campbell, for taking me around. And I just wanted to give a really big shout out to our cafeteria nutrition staff who work really hard, and the kids had a lot of positive things to say and some suggestions as well. So, that was a great time, and I enjoyed it. As you're aware, I sent out a survey over the weekend to get feedback as part of my plan from parents, staff, and community. And I'll be sending out a student survey to our student school board members. Please encourage your classmates to fill it out. So it's going to get your perspective, just like I got parents' perspective on our schools, and a lot for me, individual feedback for me as superintendent, for you all how I can do a better job. A great example, when I was at Page High and sitting down having lunch, the students I was with talked about, they really want some more time for ag in their schedule. And, they were explaining to me why that was so important and what the current schedule looks like. And I found it extremely helpful. So when I say I want your feedback, students, that's not just me checking a box. I want your feedback because it's important to me as a leader to hear it and to do something about it when I can. So
Ag program is basically non-existent.
I heard.
I do know that that's something really important to the ag kids right now, because I saw the kids that you met. I saw them on Facebook actually, but they are most of our ag officers, and they really do love ag so much. But I feel so bad for the students that have had to switch from ag to something else just because we do not have enough ag options for them. That has also become a problem when kids are trying to graduate and they need to get their continuous CTE. So like they can come to FCCLA and they can do like the cooking class and stuff like that, but they're mostly workbook until you get into the kitchen. A lot of kids aren't interested in that, but when they go into ag, they can go into the stuff they like motor and animals. But a lot of us don't. They teach the introduction, but they don't teach the secondary class, so they can't get that CTE qualification that they need. And that has been a problem recently, especially for kids trying to graduate off of ag stuff like that. They can't because they aren't teaching that secondary class. So they're trying to fill so much for introduction.
Thank you. And yes, that's the conversation we had. So I appreciate that. Fill out the survey. Instructional highlights, which we try to do. I had a great conversation with Miss Hitt at Page Middle today. And I just called her and said, I want to talk to you about instruction. I don't get to do that all the time in my job. And it's something I miss. So let's talk instruction. And what are you up to at Page Middle? And she shared a lot of different things and conversations, but she started talking to me about the splats, okay, at Page Middle. And I'm getting a lot of weird looks already. But her usage of splats, which you can see an example there in the picture, it's a star and it says 36% increase and it has the teacher's name on it. And what she's doing through conversations with teachers and others is really picking out data points from benchmarks through CIP and other things, even for teachers that are not in the testing grades or subjects. You had a kid make all district choir, or, all the things that we're there to do as educators and to celebrate and to show that, we're really working hard and we're seeing the results. So the splats is what's going on at Page Middle, and teachers and students get to come into school and see those as a surprise outside their door as she does them. So had a great conversation with her, really talked about a school-wide focus on pushing past the minimum, making sure that we're not just satisfied with our students in the middle to higher achievement levels passing in SOL. We're not just passing, you're better than that, and pushing forward and recognizing that we have a higher level of expectations than just the bare. So she and I talked about that a lot. I appreciated that, and really focusing on, again, collective growth throughout the school. So I wanted to share that with the team. If you see those at the middle school, maybe pop in and talk to the teacher a little bit about what that means. Questions and comments for me?
I did see that you met with my brother at Luray Middle. I said,
I did?
yeah.
Okay.
I said, Seth, I saw you on Instagram today. He goes, oh, some random dude just came and sat down.
Hey, he could have called me a lot worse.
I go, Seth, that's your superintendent.
Yeah.
And he goes, oh, okay. And then he walks away.
That's fantastic that he came home and talked about it. Thanks for sharing that. It makes me smile, because those have been some fun visits, and the voices of folks like you and your classmates mean more than you know. So speak up.
Some random dude.
Hey, I'll take it.
Can I tell a story about my computer?
Yeah.
So my son was a student in the school where he was the principal, and they all had him dubbed as King Henry the VIII. Look it up. That's King Henry.
Oh, yeah. I can see it. Yeah.
A long time. It must have been a little piece of glass. They had this picture.
Yeah.
He is totally King Henry.
Oh, we know. Yeah.
And I never knew it until
I
Dr.
told you
Oliver
that-
shared. Good stuff.
All right, thank you. So we'll go to our action items, claims for payment, Ms. Miller.
Yes, thank you, board members. You have been provided with the claim certification where total operating fund expenditures are $383,773.94. Fund 5 expenditures, $28,230.99 for a total of $412,004.93. With this, you have been provided with a list of claims and check registers. If you have any questions, I will be glad to answer.
I do, but I'll save them for later for you. Because you're going to have to dig for some information.
Sure.
This is an approval item.
Well, I approve the resolutions as presented.
I second.
Have a motion.
Thomas. Yes.
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 Yes. All right, RRMM facility studies, next step.
Yes, members of the school board, I'd like to start this action item by just thanking you. It's only been 2 weeks since we put a narrowed list of facility study options in front of you. And within that 2 weeks, you prioritized, you took the time to align a meeting with the Board of Supervisors. And I mean, that's efficient, and that shows the community how important this is. And so this afternoon, you had your joint work session with the Board of Supervisors. For those that got to attend, it was refreshing to see the unity and the shared concern for the future of our school system. So thank you for that. Out of that joint work session, you all and the Board of Supervisors discussed options, asked questions. Mr. Chris Phillips of our MM was present to lead, guide, and answer. And ultimately, I believe the direction was for him to take the next steps and continue the facility study with options 3, 4, and 5. And so tonight we ask for your approval so that we can say to Mr. Phillips and RRMM, we would like you to take the next phase of the study focusing on options 3, 4, and 5.
Our is an unofficial direction earlier. We need official approval.
I make a motion that we approve the RRMM facility study next steps as discussed.
I second that.
We have a motion by Mr. Overbelt, a second by Bodley.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Johnson.
Yes, sir.
The SBA policy update, Ms. Clark.
Good evening again. Before you this evening is our action items that were presented at the last board meeting. We did make the one edit change of the underline that was in policy ET, and I ask for approval this evening.
I make a motion that we approve the VSBA policy update.
I second that.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Mr. Hopkins, Title II funding, school improvement that we've already discussed. Information. Approval.
So I'll make a motion that we approve the Title II funding for school improvement as presented.
I second it.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this thing.
Yes.
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 This is on the OB.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Okay, FY '27 budget approval.
All right. Good evening again, everyone. This evening, I'm presenting to you a final fiscal year 2027 proposal for action this evening. Just before I begin, I do want to remind everyone, including the board, that you won't take action on an adopted budget until May. But this is your action on the proposal that I will then present to the Board of Supervisors next week. Just wanted to clarify that in case there were questions in the audience. So moving forward, you'll see a format very similar this evening as you saw in the initial budget proposal 2 weeks ago, but it's a condensed version, and I'll give you updates to our audience as well as the board on what has changed since then. So you'll see our projected FY27 revenue sources that we discussed, leaving us a total FY27 revenue at $47,777,791. That's the same slide that you would have seen last week. And then you'll also see these were some of the requests that we talked with you about and answered some questions about for our Fund 1 requests. So we had the 2% raise in a step, and you'll see the values of each of those requests in the circle. Health insurance, instructional needs, a position, data privacy and compliance specialist, behavior support assistants, and work on our school bus fleet, and our work with enterprise on our fleet as well, transportation routing software, and then purchase services to realign our O&M lines with what's actually needed just for a normal school year. That one-time bonus is also included in there. That can be in FY26 or 27 at this time. We are planning for it to be in FY27 because we have to. And that total request at the time 2 weeks ago was just over 3.8 million. So that's just kind of a review of where we've been and what I presented last time.
Was the insurance, I thought it was 3.2 or 3.4. Did it go up?
No, I presented
3.9. Okay, 11.9. Okay.
Yep. All right. So cost mitigation. Again, this was shared last time, but I wanted to let you know we used this prior to the last meeting based upon some feedback that I've heard. We went through that cycle again. Really what we were looking at is how do we take that 3.8 number and make it smaller. Obviously, we want to be stewards of our financial resources. We want to be responsible and appropriate with the use of those resources to try to come up with a balanced budget the best we possibly could. And so those efforts were across the board, looking at salary scales, staffing, recurring costs, and again, budget analysis on those items. I would also say during the past 2 weeks, I've had the pleasure of meeting with most of the board members, either one-on-one or in groups of two, to discuss budget and make sure that we were all working together as a team. And I'm very happy that the outcomes of those meetings, and I appreciate the time from board members to come and sit down with me and talk. It's super helpful for us as a leadership team and as a division in our preparations. So moving forward, this is a new slide for you all as a group to look at, and I've separated it into 4 categories to simplify it. These are updated savings. So we go through our cost mitigation exercises, which leads to savings, okay? So transportation fleet has been dropped to 150,000, which leaves 40,000 in that additional request. That means basically we took a bus out of that because that's really a CIP expenditure, not our Fund 1 expenditure. We still want to get those school buses, but it's from a different source, if that makes sense. Personnel realignment, you'll see at $611,740. That's looking across the division to see what we can absorb, positions that we may not backfill through retirements, resignations, those sorts of things. And that's where that number stands right now. And as the spring moves forward, that number can change depending upon, how things shake out in terms of personnel. So that is not including any RIFs or anything like that. I know that question came up 2 weeks ago. That number's just solely looking at potential moves that we could make within the division. So I wanted to clarify that. Health insurance adjustments at $79,272. I'll give you an overview of how we got there. And item one would be a 75-25 split with our employees. So we, as a division, would absorb 25% of the increase, and the employee would absorb. I'm sorry, the other way around. I flipped it. Hold on a second.
That's why everybody going, what?
Yeah. We would absorb 75 and pass on only 25% of that additional 11.9% to the employee. In years past, we absorbed 100%. However, we need to start correcting that to be responsible. We've also looked at the different plans that were being offered. As a school division, we have offered a lot of plans. And to rectify that, we are investigating the savings with removing our $500 deductible plan as well as our employee plus children plan. That employee plus children plan affects 17 employees total. And would reflect the biggest change or impact on our staff. So that's where that reduction in costs comes of $79,272, which would, of course, not impact the employee until open enrollment. And then admin scale, we discussed this last meeting of the compression or the standardization of those steps within the scale to close to 1% across the board for admin, which is a savings of $39,000. So all that being said, our number where we stand tonight is at 2.9 million, down from the 3.8 the last time we met as a group. Questions so far?
I think as you go through the next presentation, and I'm seeing the updated savings and those things, is there some way you can reference that on that slide? Just something to think about. Because we're going to be seeing this more than this is one time. And I think just being able to track it for all of us is.
I see what you're saying.
Would be think about it somehow. You're tracking it here, I get it. But I think it's just another.
Just to watch it.
Develop. Yeah.
Okay.
Just like list the original number and
Yep.
downscale.
I got you. Okay. Easy to do. Good.
Yeah, that's one of the things that I struggle with. Is when I see new data, you got a new slide there, but that's you mentioned that.
Yep.
But I like to see the same thing every time, and then to see what changed, so we can track it.
Okay.
Yes.
Very good.
I think the board members can answer this.
Right. Okay. All right. So we thought I'd put some of this in a table for you to show you how it breaks down. So you've seen the circles and the percentages of the total ask. It's just in a table form for you. So put all that through for our total reduction of $880,000. It's kind of a repeat of what I just did. So looking at our final FY27 budget requests, you'll see that number of $50,712,312 with a total ask from the local funding of $2,934,500. And again, remember, we're really working on two things here. We're discussing FY27 while also recovering from FY26. That makes this budget in particular incredibly challenging to work through, but we're all positive and have a positive outlook that with that number we can get back to level. So,
Just while you're there.
Yeah, go ahead.
Talking about the 26. Ms. Miller has done a good job keeping us up to date like every month where we're at. And I don't know when that end of March, I guess, would be a 1st of April type thing. Is that going to be an email or is that going to be something we could send in the next meeting, or how are we going to continue?
Of our ADM or
well,
the
ADM
spend?
and the spend.
Okay.
I mean, because, we were down 822 last time, 822 something. What's that going to be like the end of March? And then with the ADM, if it's finalized. Because as we watch this whole thing wind down, I think for good. I want to keep that in the forefront for everyone.
Yep. Yep. I think what Ms. Miller's presenting would continue. I think it's good practice. But to her point, we're going to have to make decisions pretty fast if we're not approaching that zero to approach our board of supervisors and ask for that added money to make us whole to end out the year. So I would recommend that we do that in April. Would be probably where we should make a decision.
And I planted the seed today with the board of supervisors about the above and beyond things that weren't planned and budgeted from the CIP. And Mr. Thomas told me he would take that back, but everybody else is hitting the same type things too. But I said, if you're not going to give us the money up front and then we spend it, it's kind of hard. We don't just come up with new revenue. Sure.
Are we getting any help from the state with our numbers?
Oh, for updates? Unfortunately, no. The latest I heard this afternoon is we won't have a true outlook on the state until May. So while we were hoping it would be this round, they're still between the crossover budget way apart from each other. A large number. And so it's going to take time to get through that again. So we're looking at, again, another situation where May is going to be probably running out what that number is. So, but we will keep you updated. It's something we look at.
So the next update would come
Yeah, same. So we'll probably like to take action in April.
for the first meeting of April. We should know where we're at, right? What we need to ask for. You have a number for it right now?
What we need to have.
What do you think?
Well,
What do you project?
as I said, our projections came down. I brought the spreadsheet in case you want.
Ah, nice.
So our projection right now, through the end of February, is an overage of 600.
615. So we went from 820 something to 615.
We're going in the right direction.
We're definitely going in the right direction.
We could stall.
If we got 300K for the CIP stuff, now you're talking.
We're averaging 200 a month, and we're 3 months out.
Yeah.
So we'll continue to update it and then, just be prepared as a board to take action in April, what we want to make this whole. So, next steps, this is the last slide, other than questions and comments, just the upcoming dates. Our cabinet has on their calendars with myself our upcoming dates you see on the slides, but also Board of Supervisor work sessions that we are trying to cover as many as we possibly can, so we can be a part of the discussion and all get better learning. There's other aspects of the county as well that have budget requests, so we'll be visiting those and listening in and then presenting on Thursday. And our Board of Supervisors will see a similar presentation that I've shared with you all to keep information consistent and presentation consistent as well, to your point. Pretty good. So, questions, comments? Really what you're voting on is that total number.
So I'm going to entertain a motion in a second, and then we're going to have discussion. So this is a big, huge, big deal. So I would entertain a motion.
Okay, I'll step up.
Okay.
I make a motion that we approve the FY27 budget as presented.
I'll second that.
We got a motion by Ms. Broadbent and a second by Mr. Boswick, and now we're going to have discussion. So, members?
Can we go back through the slide?
Yeah. Which slide do you want to see?
Go to the beginning. thought it was up there.
It will be in the,
Working. Yep.
Okay, flip. Keep going. Okay, the 2% raise, that's for instructional staff, correct?
That's for all employees.
All employees. Okay, and next slide. And next one. The one right there, continued efforts to adjust increases to 1% for all staff.
That's the admin realignment I was talking about.
Okay. All right, those are the two I had.
Yep.
And that was the director of principal. The realignment?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. So, yeah, so I understand.
Oh, and go back. Back one more. And we have the data specialist in there.
And the initial request, yes.
Go forward too for me.
Stand by. Before you go, just all those instructional books that we were talking about, the top line, that's in there.
680.
680. Whew. Okay.
Barely.
Go forward too for me. So when you all did the recurring cost audit, looking at the subscriptions that may be underutilized, or maybe just one person in the division has, did we realize any real savings there?
There's some savings there, and there's also savings to be had with some of our recurring contracts with individuals outside of our school division that provide services for our students that we are annually using in a contracted service type model because we don't have stuff. Special education would be a great.
But we found savings as well.
Yes. There's also savings on the flip side of that.
And are there any more savings that we may be able to realize?
I don't think so at this time. I think we've trimmed down technology probably about as far as we can go right now, looking at usage and teacher feedback. But I don't have anything now that's in the works. Some ideas in the future, but nothing tangible at this moment.
And the revenue for this budget is based on what ADM?
2775.
It's less.
It's conservative.
Yep.
So we're not back.
Yep.
And the focus of this vote right now is just the number, right? So
Mhm.
the things in between are things that we can continue to discuss as a board and, right?
Yep, so you're voting on that total number, the 50,712,312, with an understanding that the ask to the locality is that 2.934 number. And then that's what I would present to them Thursday next week. And then we wouldn't actually adopt officially as a board, which then we would build our budget off of. At that point, it's balanced, right? I'm not going to have the board adopt a budget that is fake. It's going to be the numbers that have to match at some point. So right now, this is our approval for our request.
For our presentation, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's our ask.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
All right, any other questions or comments?
Yes.
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 No.
Yes. All right. Resolutions.
Yeah. Yes. First one to the last.
All right, good evening again, school board members. I have a resolution number 2026-06 to read into record for you and for your approval. This resolution is to the Page County Board of Supervisors requesting adjustment of the 25-26 school operating budget to appropriate additional state revenue. Whereas Page County Public Schools has been awarded a $40,000 Virginia Tiered System of Support State Award for fiscal year 2026 to strengthen the division's multi-tiered system of supports with a specific emphasis on improving literacy outcomes. And whereas the VTSS award funds will support implementation of the Orton-Gillingham instructional approach, including professional development and related instructional resources. And whereas Page County Public Schools has also been awarded $5,383 in state funding for a vision screening grant to support required student vision screenings. And whereas pursuant to requirements established by the Virginia Department of Education, school divisions are mandated to conduct vision screenings for students in kindergarten, second or third grade, seventh grade, and 10th grade. And whereas Page County Public Schools contracted with Connexus for Children's Vision to conduct the required vision screenings, and whereas Connexus for Children's Vision invoiced the school division in the exact amount approved by the Virginia Department of Education, resulting in no net cost to the school division, and whereas it is necessary to amend the FY 25-26 school operating budget to recognize and appropriate additional state revenue in the total amount of $45,383. Now therefore be it resolved that the Page County School Board respectfully requests that the Page County Board of Supervisors approve a budget adjustment to the FY 25-26 school operating budget to appropriate additional state revenue and corresponding expenditures in the amount of $45,383 with no increase in local funding. Be it further resolved that this action results solely in the recognition and appropriation of state funds and does not impact local required effort.
Are we gonna do these one at a time? We're gonna do them all.
Probably.
One at a time. Okay. So that resolution she just read, we're gonna make a motion to approve that. We'll have a vote and we'll go to the next resolution.
I make a motion to approve that resolution.
I make the second.
Okay. Got a motion on Barbara, second.
Yes.
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 Thank you.
Board members, I have a resolution for you this evening that goes along with our budget discussion and, in my opinion, is absolutely critical for us as a school division and you as a board moving forward. I do want to read them into the record because I believe that they're incredibly important for us moving forward. So I'll go ahead and read them into the record and then answer any questions. It's a resolution of the Page County Board of Supervisors requesting release of categorical funding. Whereas the Page County School Board is responsible for the operation and administration of Page County Public Schools and for ensuring that the educational needs of students are met through effective fiscal management and program implementation. And whereas the fiscal year 2026 operating budget for Page County Public Schools was approved with categorical funding allocations designated for specific operational functions and educational programs. And whereas the release of categorical funding throughout the fiscal year is necessary to support the timely payment of operational expenses, maintain continuity of instructional programs, and ensure the efficient management of school division resources. And whereas the Page County School Board anticipates continued collaboration with the Page County Board of Supervisors in the development and implementation of future fiscal year budgets, and whereas the availability and release of categorical funding in a timely manner supports the school division's ability to meet financial obligations and maintain stable operations from year to year. Now therefore be it resolved that the Page County School Board respectfully requests that the Page County Board of Supervisors authorize the release of the remaining categorical funding for fiscal year 2026. Be it further resolved that the Page County School Board respectfully requests that categorical funding appropriated in future fiscal years be released to support the ongoing operational and instructional needs of Page County Public Schools. This is to certify that the foregoing resolution was authorized by the Page County School Board at its regular meeting held on March 12, 2026.
Okay, the motion to approve this one.
So moved. I make a motion to approve this resolution.
Second.
Second by Mr. Friedman. Vote. Any discussion? You want any discussion right now?
Only thing that we continue to try this every year, don't we?
Yes. Yeah.
How many years in a row we tried to get this approved? Just out of curiosity. Anybody know?
I would say at least 7 or 8.
What's the likelihood that it's going to get approved? Is it better chance this time, or?
I think it's a good possibility. I think we have a good working relationship with the county administrator and her office, and I believe there's a good level of trust there, and I'm hoping that with your support in the resolution, that they would support it, and she is aware of this. We discussed in that a week ago, we discussed this.
So it's been socialized already, and they know it's coming.
Yes. And she's discussed it with her.
Okay.
Any other comments or questions?
Yes.
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 Let's hope.
Last one. Correct. This is directly tied to our work moving forward in our CIP, in particular the work that each of you are doing in regards to the facility study, and will support this work long past what we see today. So, the resolution of Page County Board of Supervisors requesting reallocation of year-end unexpended funds to the Capital Improvement Fund. Whereas the Page County School Board is responsible for providing safe, functional, and well-maintained facilities for the students and staff of Page County Public Schools, and whereas maintaining and improving school facilities requires ongoing capital investment for building repairs, infrastructure improvements, equipment replacement, and other long-term facility needs. And whereas the establishment and continued support of the Capital Improvement Plan Fund 2 provides a mechanism to plan for and address significant facility needs in a fiscally responsible and strategic manner. And whereas unexpended funds remaining at the end of a fiscal year represent an opportunity to strengthen the school division's ability to address future capital needs without requiring additional appropriations. And whereas reallocating year-end unexpended funds to the CIP Fund 2 would allow Page County Public Schools to accumulate resources necessary for major repairs, renovations, equipment purchases, and other facility-related improvements. Now therefore be it resolved that the Page County School Board respectfully requests that the Page County Board of Supervisors authorize any unexpended funds remaining in the school division's operating budget at the close of each fiscal year to be reallocated to the Page County Public Schools Capital Improvement Plan, CIP Fund 2. Be it further resolved that funds reallocated to the Page County Public Schools CIP Fund 2 shall be used exclusively for capital improvement projects, including but not limited to facility maintenance, infrastructure upgrades, equipment replacement, safety improvements, and other long-term capital needs of Page County Public Schools. This is to certify that the foregoing resolution was authorized by the Page County School Board at its regular meeting held on March 12, 2026.
Okay, so I would need a motion and a second, and we'll have comments after that.
I make a motion to accept the request for the resolution for the capital fund.
I second the motion.
Got a motion by Mr. Thomas and a second by Mr. Bodker. Any discussion? Clarification, Mr. Manning. I think this is a positive thing.
Yep, it is.
And I think it's what we should have been doing all along. I think that shows how far we've come along with the Board of Supervisors and the county administration working together as a team. So I'm much in favor of it. Y'all vote.
Is the county aware that this is coming as well? And what's the feeling there?
Feeling's good. The only feedback that I heard when I spoke with Ms. Moeller was a potential of a cap on this, so it doesn't become ballooned in a savings account for the school division, but it's intentional and cap it at a number. I don't know what that number is, but there, I guess, has been discussion about that. But other than that, it seems like a positive, especially in the upcoming years as we enter into any facility improvements that happen. This sets you up for success.
So in other words, the 300,000 that we're over this year would possibly come out of it. If it was above and beyond.
Could, but we're not gonna be there. Right.
I'm talking about just
Right.
CIP.
Oh, yeah.
CIP 300K, approximately that we're there now. In future, if this was passed, that any money would be there, that would come out of that to go into the
Yes.
extra above and beyond CIP.
Yep.
So that's a positive way of looking at it.
It creates transparency too.
Yeah, absolutely. Can you check with your peers and find out what that cap number is for them if they have something similar to this? Please.
I hope it's high.
I do too.
Yeah.
Any other comments? I read for
Yes.
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 Yes. Okay, now we have board members' comments. Start down at the very end with our students.
Oh, I want to say whoever's idea a 12:30 release was for tomorrow, phenomenal. Thank you.
Some
I was-
random guy.
I was. I was not going to make it to the game otherwise. So go dogs.
What time?
Tonight was very heavy, and that's all I have to say because I have no other words for that.
6 and 8.
Oh, thank you.
I want to say thank you, Ms. Miller and Dr. Huber, for the hard work you're working on this budget. I mean, it's been the past 3 meetings. It's been heavy meetings about budget. And as a student, it's not as heavy for us as it is for y'all. It should be, but as a student, I'm not. Focus is really helpful. But I'm really thankful for all y'all do. It really shows, though, paying attention. It shows how much y'all are really putting into this and showing how important budget is. So it's really nice. Also, thank you for the 12:30 release, but I'm not going at all.
Thank you. Tom?
Yes. So first, just a great board member appreciation event at the last meeting. So just thank you all for that. And then secondly, here we go, Lou Ray. Like, good luck.
I'd just like to piggy off the appreciation stuff that we got the last meeting. I was totally shocked with everything that was in there. Very much appreciated. I still have not wrote my thank you notes back to the ones that identified that I know who to write to, which is mostly the building principals for the, like from the tech center, there was a gift card for Subway, so somebody knows me if it wasn't just me. And for the t-shirts, I've already wore the Luray one. I wore it when I met with Dr. Huber. So I'm very appreciative, and the plate was very unique. I really like that. So that's the neatest thing that so far.
Well, I'd like to express my total delight with the attitude shown between this board and the Board of Supervisors. Cooperation is the only way we can get to where we need to get to, and it's there. And the one person that impressed me today with the presentation, Mr. Hopkins, with the Teach the Teachers. That is so important. Teach the teachers. Let them know you're interested in them with a new skill set and a good skill set. That's great. That's fantastic. That's it.
Well, as I said the last meeting, I'm leaving Page County at the end of the month, and it's time for my bride and I to start our next chapter of life, and we're pretty excited about it. I am honored to have had the opportunity to serve on the board and also to work with such great professionals. I mean, the students, the teachers, members of the board, and also to be able to serve the citizens of District 2. I'd like to encourage the parents and the citizens to come and take part in our meetings. I over 2 years now, we have citizen comment every day, every time on our agenda, and I think I can count on one hand the number of times that the citizens have bothered to come and talk to us and give us their thoughts. I encourage you to come and listen to our meeting and take part in it, because that's where you're going to find out the facts and the truth, and it's not a Facebook story. And I feel pretty strong about that, because we have, I think, sometimes information that's not accurate, and you can get the accurate information by coming here. So I think that's something I would like to encourage you to do. It is all about our kids. I mean, they are the future. And so I think I said last time, I encourage the parents and citizens to support the division, support your teachers, support your programs. Some of the sports programs that we've got in the booster clubs, man, they do a fantastic job. You really got to hand it to them. It was fun doing some readings. I really enjoy reading to the students, especially the little guys and gals. They're a lot of fun. As they sit there cross-legged and get smiles, and I get to make voices out of the books and things that I get to read. And they all have their favorite books, but it was a lot of fun to do that. There's just a couple things I want to leave the community with, and that is we're in the new world of AI and technology, and it is upon us. It is moving at a rate that it's lightning speed, and I think that we have to be very cautious of the amount of screen time that we expose our children to. We have had so many different studies that have been done. We've had conversations, we've had presentations in this division talking about digital cocaine and the impact that it has on our children's brains. You need to get the kids, I wish that they would go outside and play more like we did when I was growing up. But I just think that's something we have to be very cautious of, and we have to keep our eyes wide open as to the impact that it has on our kids. We have great sports programs. I'm wishing the absolute best for our teams tomorrow night, and I think we're going to take state. I think it's going to be awesome. So it's going to be a great parade on Saturday. I'm going to try and make that. I'm going to try to make tomorrow night, but in the middle of selling a house, buying a house, moving, there's a lot going on. I think lastly, I just want to also talk, just to mention that students need to really concentrate on their grades. I mean, on their studies. And I say that because when you look at the student athletes that go to college, only about 2% of them will get a full ride or get a scholarship. But an academic scholarship, there's about 12% of the students that'll get an academic scholarship. So my point being is grades are important, and a strong grade point average and a strong grounding in your academics actually you have a better shot at getting a scholarship than you do otherwise. But I don't want to take anything away from the sports programs because they're so critical, building teams, building leaders. But I really want to hope that if any of you students are listening, or parents, encourage them to really put their efforts into getting a good, solid base of grades. And other than that, I don't have anything else to say except thank you very much. I enjoyed my time, and God bless. I've got to tell you, thank you for the plate. There's a story here, and I'll stop. So, and I really appreciated everything that y'all did last time for the appreciation. That was fantastic. Well, I took my plate home, and I put it on the counter, or in the bookcase, and the little holder that it was on was kind of little, but I had a workman there doing some work in the house, and by accident, pure by accident, it fell off and broke into many pieces. And he really felt bad. I would never divulge who it was, but he felt so bad. I felt sorry for him. And anyway, I show up tonight and I've got a new one. So thank you so much, because this is going to have a very special place in my home. That's all. Thanks.
It was hard to put back together.
I thought I saw your handiwork.
The lowest bidder concept.
I would also like to thank everyone for the appreciation letters and the gifts. And
I want you to know, at least for me personally, I mean, I don't expect any of those things, and I find it really humbling. I know how busy I am during the day, and even to find some time to sit down and to write a card to someone, I don't care if it says, thank you, we appreciate you. I don't care how brief that is. It does not go unnoticed, especially when I know that I bounce around all day long, and I know that everybody here does the same. And it's, and just one more thing to think about, one more little thing to do. But I do appreciate it, and I find it very, very thoughtful. I would also like to recognize the students that came tonight. That's always the highlight, right? I mean, that's what we celebrate. I would like to also congratulate, and we're really excited. Actually, Mr. Arrington made the comment out of last Friday night's game. This is history. You know, we're making history. That's a really big deal. Win or the opposite, you know, but we're going for the first one, right? So good luck, safe travels. I also like to thank Jake and Saritha Judy, who have taken it upon themselves to organize a bus for the community. I think that you need to, there are so many community leaders who are pulling their community together. And this is another couple that does that. And I think that we need to recognize and just a thank you to them too, right? So thanks for doing that for our community. It gets them there safely for a lot of people who didn't feel comfortable making the drive. And the budget, right? It's intense, I know, right? It is, but I want to, while it's not leaked because we have made, you all made leaps and bounds, but the cleanup has been deep and it has been a headache, and you have picked it apart, and I am grateful. And I see that has worked as it should with our county admin. Full transparency, we are on the same page. You guys are meeting with them regularly. We're a team. We all work for the same community. It is all the same tax dollars. And when we are lock and step with our board of supervisors, we are lock and step with our community. We don't have to agree about everything, but it is important that we can come to an agreement with each other. Got to meet in the middle and have some compromise. And I thank you all for helping us to get to that point, because that is exactly what both boards and, most importantly, our community has needed to see in leadership for a very long time.
Well said. So thank everybody for the time tonight, and students. That's a great report.
It was.
We had some really good basketball teams this year, and we got two that's getting ready to play for a state championship. Talk about history. I love seeing Bobby Brown walk into the gym, one of the first state champions. History basketball, and he was rooting the team on, the new latest version. And just hope that everything goes well. Everybody has safe travels as they go down there. Thank you, Mr. Oberfeld, for your time on the board. You've added a lot to what we've done. When we talked about the change in the board of supervisors, I consider you a pivot person. You started it. We asked you to do it on previous boards, and if the reason we're sitting under that shade, call it shade, of a tree you helped plant. So if there's one thing you take away other than your plate, is that you got that relationship going and challenged in both sides. And we did something today that was pretty amazing. We had the board of supervisors in here, I'll accept a couple of them, and we ended up whittling down from 6 different plans to 3, and we did it within 50 minutes.
Amen.
Yeah. So that's unusual, and it's just good leadership and having prep and stuff that you guys have done, Mr. Dykes.
And everybody left smiling.
Everybody left smiling.
It's a good rapport. It's a good rapport.
And knowing that, we got a lot ahead of us, but we're moving forward with that for sure. So at this time, we're not gonna, we have to go back into closed session, so we don't adjourn the meeting, right? So we'll be going back into closed session. We need to make a motion to go back into closed session.
I make a motion that we go back in closed session.
Second.
I've got a motion by Mr. Blatchford and a second by Ms. Brown.
Yes.
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 Yes. We're gonna